My name is Chrissy. I'm a customer success manager here at Healthie, and this is the Streamlining Your Insurance Billing Using Healthie class. So for today, I'm going to show you how to connect your Office Ally account to Healthie so that you can create your CMS 1500s within Healthie and send them over to Office Ally for reimbursement. I'll show you best practices on collecting insurance information from your clients. We'll also walk through how to create a super bill. First thing that I want to start off by saying is you do need an Office Ally account in order to use this integration. So you would go to Office Ally, click on Start Today, and create your Office Ally account. May take a few business days to receive confirmation because they do have to verify your credentials. But once you receive that verification that you successfully created an Office Ally account, you would log into Healthie in order to start the integration process. So to integrate your accounts, you would go into Billing, CMS 1500s, Office Ally Settings, and if the accounts aren't connected, you're going to see a screen that looks like this, and you're going to follow these steps exactly. You're going to email Office Ally Support at this email address, use this into the email subject, copy and paste this into the body of that email, enter your Office Ally username, the contact name, and the email address on file. What you're doing here is requesting SFTP information. What they'll get back to you with in 1 to 5 business days looks like separate login information. So what you're going to do is go back into Healthie, again under Billing, CMS 1500, Office Ally Settings. They'll let you know within that email what designation to use. There's 2 different ones. They'll let you know what username to use and the SFTP password. It's going to be a really weird looking password with lots of uppercase, lowercase letters and some numbers. So we recommend just copying and pasting that password here and then pressing verify SFTP information. Your screen will automatically go from red to green, so it will look exactly like this, which means you are ready to start creating your claims. Before we get into that, just want to review best practices with collecting insurance information from your clients. If your practice is primarily insurance-based, we recommend adding our insurance form to your intake flow so that when clients are onboarding to work with you, they fill out that form as part of their onboarding process. Under Forms, Intake Flows, use your default flow or whatever flow you're using to onboard your clients. And here is the insurance form. If you don't see that form already, you can click on Add a Form to this intake flow and find the insurance form here. Just to show you what that form looks like. You can edit this little blurb here if you'd like, but essentially the client would put in their insurance plan, the type of plan, the relationship to the card holder, the member ID, and the group number and insurance company phone, and a photo of the back and front of their card as optional fields that they can enter. We recommend you using this form because once they fill out this form, it will save their insurance information in their chart. Another way that you can send the form to the clients, maybe your practice isn't primarily insurance-based, so you don't want everyone to fill that out. If you click on your client's name, go to Charting, Request Form Completion, you can just send that insurance form as needed to your clients this way. Where that information saves would be in their chart under the Actions tab. Insurance. So here you can see all of the information that they filled out. What's good about having that information saved here is when you do fill out a CMS 1500, that insurance information will automatically pull into the claim. So you don't have to go back and forth between tabs, entering that information manually. Now, if you did want to use your own insurance form, you can certainly do so, but keep in mind that if you are using your own insurance form that you've created, that insurance information will not save here automatically. So you would just have to view the form response and then add that information here yourself. Now, to initiate a claim, There's a few different ways that you can do that. You can do that within the client's chart. So under billing, CMS 1500, new CMS 1500, or if you're charting on the client, and let's say you finished your charting notes, under more, you have the option to create a CMS 1500. Last way you can initiate a claim, let's say you're not in the client's chart, you just have a day dedicated to billing. You can go in your own billing tab, CMS 1500, new CMS 1500, and then select your client and move forward in creating the claim. Now, for the purpose of class today, I'm just going to show you all of the required fields that are needed in order to create a CMS 1500. So you would select the client. Everything under client information is required. Referral information is not required. Oftentimes providers think that you need referral information in order to submit a claim, but you don't. Some clients may be finding you on their insurance's website because you're listed as an in-network provider. So technically no one referred them to you, so you won't have referral information. Same thing with referring provider. It's not necessary, but if you do have a referring provider, you can certainly add them here by selecting their qualifier and entering their information. If you don't already have a referring provider under your settings, you can add a new referring provider here. Rendering provider is who provided the service. If that's you, you can find your name here with your NPI. If you're in a multi-provider practice and maybe you're filling this out for someone else, you can select someone else's name from the drop-down. Again, your NPI would be here. If, for example, you need your tax ID or a taxonomy code or something like that added to the claim, to do that, you would go to Other ID, add New Other ID, Other ID qualifier. If you need your tax ID, you would use the EI, so Employer Identification Number. We do have some other qualifiers here, so ZZ for Provider Taxonomy. You can look through this list in case you need to add another qualifier. And then you would enter the ID number. Once you do this once, you don't have to do that again. The information is already saved for when you fill out your next claim. Service facility is where did the service take place. If you don't already have a service facility, you can add a new service facility here. Billing provider is who is filling out the claim. So if you are the one who provided the service and are filling out the claim, you can use your rendering provider's NPI, so your NPI. Or if you are a biller filling this out for someone else, you can use the biller's NPI number. Insurance information from the client goes here. And again, by filling out our form and having the insurance information saved in the Actions tab, that insurance information automatically pulls in here. Miscellaneous info, I've never really seen a lot of providers fill this out, except if maybe you've made a mistake on your previous claim and you need to resubmit, you might have to enter a resubmission code. The diagnoses for the client. So this is pulling in from the Actions tab. If these diagnoses don't pertain to the specific claim, you can just delete them from the claim. It will not delete them from the chart. It's just deleting them from this particular claim itself. Under billing items, you do have to have a procedure code and specify the units and fee per unit. Most times I've seen 1 unit equals 15 minutes. So the way that this reads is I'm billing for 1 hour of service and the fee is fee per unit. So $200 for 1 hour of service for medical nutrition therapy. You do need a diagnostic pointer. And this diagnostic pointer is literally just pointing to the diagnosis above. So I provided 1 hour of MNT, which I'm charging $200 for this person's dietary counseling and surveillance. So the diagnosis code that you'll use here also depends on your specialty, as well as the procedure codes. So once you're done here, you'll press save and close, and here is your claim. The status is automatically not sent. Keep in mind that the very first time that you're using this integration, you do have to have 5 claims for that first submission. So to submit those 5 claims, you would just select those 5 claims from the checkbox to the left and send to Office Ally. Alternatively, you can export as a text file. Once you do 5 claims that very first time, you can submit however many claims you'd like to. You can do 1 at a time, 5 at a time, 20 at a time, up to you. Once you press send to Office Ally, the status does change to sent. And as Office Ally updates the status on their end, we'll receive that information the following business day at 6 a.m. So for example, once Office Ally says that this status has been fully paid, by end of day today, by the following day at 6 a.m., I'll be able to see the status from sent to fully paid. Now we do get some reimbursement details that pull in, and you can find those reimbursement details by clicking the Actions tab here, Reimbursement Details. Here you'll see information like how much you billed, what the reimbursement amount and date was, if there's a client responsibility. You have the option to remove that responsibility and add any additional notes here. Any additional details that you need outside of what's provided here, you would have to log into Office Ally to see those details. If the claim was denied by the insurance and you're curious as to why, you would have to log into Office Ally to see that as well. And finally, if the claim was denied by the clearinghouse, usually this is due to maybe your NPI number being a digit off or something like that. Office Ally will notify you via email, but you would still have to log into Office Ally if you want any other additional clarity. That's just not information that Office Ally gives us. They just send over those reimbursement details that we saw here. Some other options that we give you, you can export as a text file. And here it'll transfer all of that information from the claim that you filled out into an actual CMS 1500. So you can either download this, send it maybe via fax or something like that, or you can export as a text file. Now, moving into super bills, let's say the insurance says that they're not paying you for a service that you billed for. One thing that you can do is charge the client for your services and then provide them with a super bill. What they would do with a super bill is take that and send it over to their insurance so they can try to get reimbursement for whatever money they paid you. Another reason to use a super bill is maybe you're taking on a client who is out of network and they're still choosing to work with you, but they still want to attempt to get reimbursed for your fees. You can take them on as a client and give them a super bill. To go to super bills, you would just go to billing, super bills, new super bills on the top right, select the client, and create. Here you'll see required information like the date of service, the client name, their address, date of birth, your information, a referring provider if you have one, the diagnoses, billing items, other line items. So you can use this if maybe you also charge them for a program that they want to try to get reimbursed for. And here you would enter the total amount that they paid you. You would hit create super bill on the top right. It does default to not sent, but if you go into the Actions tab, you have the option to email it to the client, or you can download, send it in the mail, or maybe hand it to them, just to show you what that super bill looks like. So they'll be able to see this and take it and send it over to their insurance company for reimbursement. Now, some other things that I do want to point out here. Under the Clients tab, if you do click on a client that has their insurance information listed, you do have our insurance eligibility tracker that comes on. Here you'll be able to track number of authorized visits per calendar year. So if I press edit, you can enter any authorization numbers if you're tracking visits or hours or units, the number of visits covered, how many they've used, any other benefits like their CPT codes, ICD-10 codes that are covered, referral information. Anytime you speak to an insurance representative, they will give you a reference number that you can use in case the conversation ever has to be referred back to. So here you can document that reference number and enter the date and time and any notes from the call that you'd like to add. Alternatively, what you could use as a quick reference are these insurance notes. So if you need to know very quickly that the person has a copay of $15, you can have that here as a quick reference. Any other information, like they have 3 visits per calendar year, any reference numbers and dates, you can also add that here. There is no save button. This does automatically save. Now, another thing to review, what if a person has a copay? So this person owes $15 after their visit. How do you collect that copay? Now, one thing that you could do is just charge the credit card on file, assuming that you did disclose that to the patient, that you're reserving the right to charge their card on file. You can go into their billing tab, charge the client. If they have a credit card on file, you'll be able to use this feature. Alternatively, what you could do is send them an invoice as well. What's unique about the invoices is that if you use an invoice type CMS 1500, enter the recipient, the sender, the CMS 1500s do pull in here and their client responsibility does automatically pre-fill. So you can preview the invoice. This is what it looks like when they receive that invoice. And then you have the option to email it to the patient, download it and print it, maybe send it in the mail or hand it to them. The last thing that I do want to review for today is best practices for having your clients fill out that insurance form. If you go into your settings, insurance, here you can add additional billing providers, but under accepted policies, we do recommend taking a few minutes to come and add the policies that you're accepting into your practice. What this does is when the client is filling out the insurance form, these are the first policies that will pop up. So if I go into the Forms tab, Intake Flows, Insurance Form, those are the first 3 that pop up. It's just a better experience for your clients. Sometimes these insurances sound alike and it might be easy to kind of confuse their insurance policy for another. So we do recommend just taking a few minutes just to list out your accepted policies. But that is it for today's class. If you are looking for more tutorials, feel free to join in on any of our free live classes. You can also look at any of our pre-recorded tutorials using Healthie University.